You're watching Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Welcome to Space Cadettes. I'm Alfie. That's over somewhere is Jena.
Right.
And on this show, we believe that much like disco, ska is not dead. Once again, I watched Renfield 3 times yesterday. All right, so
that's a good movie.
I love it. It's my comfort movie now. To start the show off, ages ago, I had said that I had backed the S.C.P. Kickstarter, which that's the first Kickstarter that I ever backed, and I got in like my little figures and the comic book and all that. But finally, yesterday, on the rainiest day, where the box was super wet, I got my books. Luckily, they were all shrink wrapped.
Yay!
But I want to show them off.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see these.
They are spooky and they are thick. Like,
we've been talking them for a while. Oh, snap.
And they are very great quality. I was so worried. I mean, I've never backed a Kickstarter before, so I was like, oh no, are these going to be like poor quality once I finally get them in? Or are they going to be wet because Houston? But they were really great. And this is the Black Journal.
Oh my god.
Whoop.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and they have like full-blown like art in them. It's really cool.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to, in like a couple of weeks after you've had your fun, I'm going to have to borrow them one at a time so I can read them.
Oh, for sure. I'm like reading each S.C.P. like as I want to. And this is the Red Journal.
Oh my god, I love it. That's beautiful.
And I'm gonna see if I can't find a random cool. Oh, yeah, here we go.
I like the blacked out parts and the classified, the redacted.
Yeah, which they do that on the website as well. All these SCPs, they're from the website.
That's so cool.
And they give credit to whoever contributed to those SCPs, and they give credit to the artist as well.
That's amazing. You have to give credit where credit's due. Oh my god, I love that one.
Yeah. And this is this SCP is called the Doorman.
Don't answer the door.
Well, you can't because you're you'll start hearing heavy wheezing, and then you will be just incapacitated with fear.
Oh my gosh.
So you can't answer the door. It's really cool. They even have a whole like, oh, this is how we tried to contain him, and we threatened one of our subjects with death if they wouldn't open the door.
Oh.
And they couldn't, so they died. And then they were like, they gave another subject like, hey, here's a knife. You need to cut this other subject until they open the door. And she couldn't open the door, so she died from blood loss.
What?
Yeah. It's really cool. I love this. And there was also like one researcher who he appeared behind her door, and she couldn't open it, and he stayed there for 5 days. So she died from starvation.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Dude, it's so cool.
There's one SCP, but I can never remember what number it is, but it's like it looks like a giant crocodile, but like old and like falling apart, and he's always like mean, except for when the one SCP that's a blob that brings happiness comes in. That's the only like I can. Oh my gosh, I know
the main one that I remember is like a vending machine that will give out any liquid that you want.
Oh.
If it's coffee, yeah. Or if it's like liquid uranium, yeah. It just
Oh my God.
it gives out whatever liquid. It's weird.
Oh, I can't remember. Like, I'm on the website reading through them, trying to remember, but all of them are done by like redacted,
Yeah.
unknown. And I'm like, how am I supposed to remember which one?
Yeah, like I
Um,
don't remember the numbers of any. I just remember like what they are
yeah,
or the ones in the game.
yeah. Oh gosh, I can't
Hold
remember.
on,
I'm
is that?
sad now. I'm sure somebody else will remember it and put it in the comments probably. I'm sad I can't remember it.
Which I mean, it'd be cool if we had some SCP nerds that are just chilling in the chat.
If you guys are an SCP nerd, please talk to us. I'm kind of not up to date on them, but I enjoy them.
Yeah, I'm not up to date. Like the main ones I remember are from the game, and
I found it.
also the one that's like it might be Child of Man, which I think is in one of these books. It's something weird.
So I found it. It's SCP-682, also known as a object class Keter. Keter.
Keter. Well, I say Keter.
Keter, yeah. He's a giant reptile, but his ribs are showing, and he's just always hungry.
And he said it's what number?
682.
682.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I might have a picture of that.
That'd be so cool.
Okay, it is not in this book.
Oh.
But I've got 3 other books. Well, 2 other books.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I could really I look at SCP stuff all the time because it is so interesting. Like, wasn't there this one that kind of looks like a giant doll where if you blink it kills you, or it shows up right behind you and kills you?
That's the that might be the one from the game that's like it looks like it's made out of cement and rebar.
Yeah.
And when you blink it moves. Like you have to keep eyes on it at all times. Yeah.
And you know what else is super cool? Because I'm looking at the website. They also have audio adaptations where it reads to you the entire thing about them. I'm like, that's cool.
Also, I don't see SCP-682.
Oh no.
Maybe. Well, there's also there's also a blanked out SCP in this one. Like in the index.
Oh my.
It doesn't have any number and it's just blanked out completely.
Yeah. I know there was another one I was watching a video about where it was he was supposedly God and he just hung out there, and the cell he had was supposed to be like really small, but he's turned it into like a full apartment, but the dimensions on the outside are still like the small, but if you walk in it's a full apartment. And every once in a while he'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna go out for burgers, anybody else want one? And he'll just like walk out through the wall, and they're like, you know what, he's here by choice, there's nothing else we can do. There's nothing we can do.
It is what it is. And also for that blanked out SCP, that's it.
Oh my gosh.
It's just weird.
Apparently he's really big, and that's all we know.
And he can walk through walls?
Maybe that's the God one.
Maybe. But yeah, it's really cool that they have on the website that you can visually hear the SCPs.
Yes.
Which I think that leads us into our proper topic of today.
Yeah. So our main topic for today is as we've discussed before, I do have vision problems. And as a lot of you guys have kind of been following along, I'm slowly getting it back. sort of, kind of in ways. And there are still some things that, like, me personally, I cannot see, or like my brain doesn't see it. Like tiny writing when there's a lot of writing on a page, like I think there was a book, I can't remember what book it was, that came out this week that had the regular standard, like 7 or 8 panels on a page, right? But there were so many boxes and so much like in there, they had to write it tiny and I couldn't see anything at all.
You know what? I'm gonna say that the most recent like Sins of Sinister and stuff like that, those books that I've been reading lately, those have so much text.
Yeah.
And it's so tiny. Even I have an issue sometimes. Which, not to say that I have perfect vision. I probably don't. I probably do need reading glasses, honestly. Like everyone in my family at this age needed reading glasses. I just haven't gotten any. But it gets to a point where I'm just like, basically, I'll take the book sometimes, and I just need to do this. Like, oh, like, what does that say?
I think there was
so tiny.
I think I had to get a magnifying glass one time, and even then that didn't help. And it does break my heart. I love reading comics. I truly do. But there are times when I have to hand it over to Jay and I'm like, what does this say? And I think that's why me and quite a few other people, we've been leaning towards, digital comics.
Yeah,
because we can make it bigger. We can see what it says.
Yeah, like there's a site that I use, and they have it's like a 3 magnification thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I can zoom in, and it's like, all right, I can read this, whether it be on my phone or the computer.
Yeah.
Cool. I can read this.
And I've noticed that that's getting more and more popular with a lot of books these days, where they want to put so much text into it. I can't see it. I can't read it.
It's one of those, like, dude, I would rather you just make the comic longer. Like,
yeah.
If the text can be bigger and the comic is longer, fine.
Yeah.
That's cool. Or if the comic arc is longer, cool. That's fine.
Add another comic to your line. They're like, oh, it's only 6 issues. And I'm like, 6 dictionaries is what it feels like. You guys could have done like 8 or 9. Or even a good round number is 10.
Yeah. I feel like that's a perfectly fine comic arc. Like, and if someone is feeling like, oh man, that feels kind of daunting, it's like, all right, well, there's other comics that are shorter, but with less text.
Yeah. And because there are such
doesn't have to be that long.
Yeah. There are such good comics out there. And I know not a lot of people out there are fans of digital comics, but at this point, it's the only way I can read them.
And also at this point, it's kind of becoming, if you get like a subscription, it's becoming the more affordable way.
Yeah.
Because if you like to read a lot, I mean, I feel like we benefit from working at a comic book store where our job is to review books. Because it's like, oh, well, when we get them in, we review them. We get to read them immediately. I didn't buy any of the Sins of Sinister. I just read them for the review thing, for the review show.
Yeah.
Which they are good. If you're into Sinister, I would highly recommend buying them. But I didn't have to. I just got to read them immediately. And it's like, okay, here it is. Awesome.
Yeah. And then I thought that was actually kind of a funny story. Like I think I read the Nightcrawlers one, and you read the other one, and then somehow you were just like, oh, I'm reading this. I need them all.
Well, you had started reading Nightcrawlers, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. And I was like, oh, wait, I'm reading all of those. Just give that to me. I'll read it. They're part of a whole arc. It doesn't really make sense if you read them individually.
Yeah.
Because I think it was a number 1. It was Nightcrawler's number 1. but it's part of that whole Sins of Sinister arc, which is a lot.
It's Goofy Goober.
It is definitely Goofy Goober, which is just the definition of sinister. He's a huge Goofy Goober.
But that also brings me to kind of like in comics, they are now expanding on having like more inclusive like characters. Like in the Eternals. And I know a lot of people have something to say about that movie. I'm gonna say this. It was not originally slated as a movie. It was originally slated as, I think, either a 4 or 6 episode miniseries that they had to condense down to a 2-hour movie. So that's why
it was a show.
I thought it was supposed to be a show too. So it's just, that's why it felt like a lot of stuff was cut out. But if you get it, you watch these deleted scenes, it really adds to the movie. But in that movie was, I think it was after Daredevil, like the first time we've gotten to see a character who has what a lot of people consider a disability. We had, her name was Makari, and she was deaf. She was the speedster. And what I loved was she was only 5'2", like the both of us. And so it felt like that was a character I could like relate to, because in the movie you got to see what it was like. She got very frustrated with the people around her because they would be sitting there talking and she just like, she's watching all their lips trying to like keep up. And a couple of the ones that were with her all the time had, did sign language with her. But there were, you could see she got frustrated a few times because not everybody thinks about everybody around them,
Yeah, dude. Actually, I had a deaf friend when I was a teenager, and I had started learning sign language. I've forgotten a good chunk because it just hasn't.
Yeah.
I haven't used it in a long time, but for some reason, her husband, her brother, her mom would always forget to sign to her when we're all talking.
Yeah.
So I would try to sign to her to keep her in the conversation. Like,
Yeah.
hey, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And we even went to a movie together, and it's like we set up close so that I could like write in the light and be like, oh, like this is what they're saying in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, here you go. It's really unfortunate. Like with people that are blind or have a visible disability, it's like, oh, okay, well, I can help you. But for some reason with deaf people, it's like, oh, well, they can't hear. Don't worry about them.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you should absolutely include them in stuff.
Because when I was very, very young, before the age of 10, I was also deaf. And it's so very frustrating because back then I remember in comics and in movies, there was nobody.
Yeah.
There was nobody that you could feel like a connection to. And when people are like, oh yeah, just Daredevil. And it's like, dude, I get it, but it's not the same.
Yeah. I think now in movies in general, there's starting to be more deaf people and more representation on that front. But of course, I can't speak for it personally, and if it resonates, because I'm not deaf, and at this point, I no longer have any deaf friends. Moved away. Been a long time, but but the fact that there's any representation that's starting, I think is really cool.
Right. And then like the S.C.P thing, how they have an audio, which is so great to me because I wish there was a way that we could have comic books for those of us that just, we can't see that. We can't see it. And I think there was one thing, like trying to figure out how to do a Braille version of comics, because it is such a visual, media.
I would say that unfortunately it would probably cost a lot, but maybe for like a one shot for a Braille comic, it's like everything's embossed.
Oh yeah.
Like even the pictures, it's like you could feel what the pictures were supposed to look like.
Yeah. Because that is one thing. Like the Braille is a whole nother language that you can feel and read, but for pictures and stuff, you can still fill them and you can still get a sense of what it looks like, or you get your own version of what it looks like when you're imagining it. And I feel like that's kind of a wasted opportunity that nobody, at least I don't know of anybody that's doing that.
The only thing I could think that the reason that they're not doing that is that it would be expensive. That's what I'm gathering. Oh no.
No.
Okay. Sorry, my computer went to screensaver mode and
Oh
like,
no.
no, I'm still using it. What's happening?
And
But
then,
but yeah, I can only think that it would be expensive because it wouldn't be like one page is two pages. It would be one page is one page.
yeah. And then Jay mentioned a really cool idea where it's a Braille QR code to listen to the comic. Like if they had maybe on the back of the comic, the front of the comic, you can feel the Braille, and when you're blind, your phone actually talks to you. So they could take the picture of it and then they'd be able to listen to what's happening in the comic with description. And I wish that was like, that needs to be a thing. I need somebody to get on that like ASAP.
Yeah,
Oh my
like now that we're speaking about it, it's like if for some reason I think if either one of us actually made a comic, it's like, well, no, that would be a default. Like obviously,
for
we
sure.
would have that.
For sure. Like, oh my gosh. So I'm just now seeing blues for the first time, and I'm going back and looking at comics and being like, oh my gosh, this is a completely different picture now. Why can't there be a little thing that you can just like use your phone and just take the picture? Because oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like I know that there's like a whole Reddit thing too where you can sign up to help describe posts that have pictures. And it's like, oh, it's a picture with this and this, and it has this text. And that'll just be like part of like an auto mod, or like someone will post it.
Yeah.
So that people that are blind can also enjoy whatever silly or terrible post is happening.
I want that to be for comics too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that would be so cool. I don't know. Maybe I'm just missing something because I'm surprised that it hasn't happened yet.
I mean, maybe it's on some websites. I mean, I know it's not on the website that I use for comics, or at least I haven't seen it, but I also haven't looked for it because I just hit the plus button a lot and then I'm good.
The National Federation of the Blind has a panel by panel, which is their way of comic book access for the blind.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Back in 2016 is when they started this, is what it looks like. Oh my gosh, this is pretty cool. So if you go through them specifically, they have a handful of Marvel, DC, and Image books, but they're not available completely yet. So it looks like this is something that somebody's trying to figure out how to do. At least there's somebody out there trying to figure it out. And
yeah, if there was like some way to volunteer, like it's like, oh well, you just need like people to do audio, then that'd be cool.
Yes. So yeah, there is somebody who is trying to do it, but there's only like a handful of books available. It looks like it's the major 3, but it looks like they are trying to like add on to it. It's just slow, which anything new is slow growing.
Yeah, and especially trying to become more inclusive, you know. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunately going to take a lot of time, but hopefully the time is worth it. And like, you know, it's not just like, oh, well, here's 10 of the big ones. There you go.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like someone needs to narrate all of Saga. And if it has to be me, I will.
I will do all of I Hate Fairyland.
I'll be crying through all of Saga, but I will do it.
If anybody wants to hear about Faith, I will sit here and I will describe every panel and read every word. I will come up with voices for it.
If someone needs to read Stray Dogs.
Oh, it may have to be teamwork, me and you, Alfie, where you start crying, I'll tag in. When I start crying, you tag in. That's what we'll have to do.
That's how it should be for any like sad comic. It's like, okay, tag in.
Tag in. Okay, I'm in.
Okay, this person died. I can't deal with it. Okay, come on.
Why are you crying? Why is this person crying? Like, I gotta tap out and then you step in. And it's like, and they died. Like, oh, that's why the original narrator was crying. Or would that be a spoiler?
Like, we get up to that issue and it's like, and so the comic begins with and then it's just like, no, we gotta
tap out. Oh gosh. But I am really looking forward to what the future is bringing for like more representation of what the world really is in comics and in the movies. Like,
yeah, between a more visible like representation of disabilities,
yep,
and then also like different cultures and just everything is, it's like, oh man, cool. It's like, it's expanding.
Yes. I'm so happy for that.
Yeah. It's taken a long time, but
I'm finally getting there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I guess with this stuff, it takes a long time.
Yeah, I think so. But I am happy that we're living in the age where it's starting.
Yeah.
What an age to be alive.
What a time to be alive. Finally, stuff is happening.
And then also, like, it was so cool that we're getting to see not like 6'1", perfectly sculpted people. Like, everybody was that way in comics. And now we're getting to see amazing characters that are like 5 foot. 5'2". I think Wolverine was only supposed to be 5 foot, but the amazing Hugh Jackman is much taller than that.
He's not. I think he's 5'8".
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, no, he's a short king, I think. I'll double check right now, but I'm pretty certain that he's also not very tall, in comparison to what people think that he should be.
Well, I know he's no 5 foot like Wolverine.
He's not 5 foot nothing.
That's true. How tall are you? Oh, I love how that's literally the second question in Google search. He's 6'3".
What? I thought he was shorter.
Nope, he's 6'3", and Wolverine is supposed to be 5'3". So he's a whole foot taller than his character.
I could have sworn that I had read that he was shorter. Maybe I was just reading that Wolverine was short.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy. He's 6'3". What?
Okay, I do know though that Daniel Radcliffe is shorter.
Yes, he is.
So maybe he should be the next Wolverine.
While we're talking about height, let's take a little short break and go look up the height of other celebrities and comic characters. We will see you guys back here in just a minute. Bye.
Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. You just finished the last episode of your favorite news show, and you just have to talk about it. but all your friends are ghosting you because of that incident last week at the buffet. Oh, you know the one. What you did to that chowder. Ugh. Keeps me up at night. So what do? Join writer Dan Wickline as he breaks down all your favorite pop culture media. Whether it's a review of the latest nerdy TV show or a dive back into the history of your favorite comic characters, Dan's ready to discuss all the hottest topics live. Join the conversation as Dan live streams Tuesday through Thursday at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. The Dan Wickline Show, on The Experience, comic culture and sales.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.
Hey guys, welcome back. And so we have things to say. I've been rewatching The Neighbors. It's an alien family comes to Earth trying to assimilate into Earth. One of the alien families leaves, and so in this cul-de-sac, they bought all the houses. A human family comes in, and anyways, great show. 2 seasons got canceled. I am really sad. There's a lot of times that they did like breaking the fourth wall that I thought was really funny. But the best part about this entire show is that Doug Jones gets to be himself.
Oh, my precious baby boy, Doug Jones.
I think it's on Hulu.
I'll have to watch it.
It's only 2 seasons. It's absolutely hysterical. There was one episode where, because it's in New Jersey, right? And the human family is telling the main family, hey, don't come over. It's just a bunch of, New Jersey housewives just hanging out. So
the Real Housewives of New Jersey?
No, just but this is where they come in. Are you ready? She's like, oh, it's a bunch of New Jersey housewives, and she goes and looks it up, and she finds the show. And so she dresses up and starts acting like them. And one of the things is make sure to look at camera to say something random sometimes. And so she does that. She'll look straight into the camera and she's like, but why? Or she'll turn around and look at a bush and be like, and they don't even know me. And then it's a great show. I hope everybody gets to watch it. But you get to see Doug Jones as himself in that movie, in that show. And I think a comic book character that he should play where he could again be himself is the Ice Cream Man.
I think he would be perfect for that part.
Yes, because he was a great Abe. Don't get me wrong. He was a great Abe Sapien. But Ice Cream Man,
why don't we have this yet?
Why was he the Ice Cream Man in, what was that one movie? Legion? Was he the Ice Cream Man?
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Oh no, no, not Legion. I'm sorry.
Man, I can only think of Jay says Legion.
Was it? Okay, so it was Legion the movie, not Legion the show. I'm sorry. I'm getting that. But yeah, the movie, did he play the Ice Cream Man in that one? I think he did. And the way that he stretches out and turns into a monster, demon monster, I'm like, oh my God, Ice Cream Man. He's the perfect Ice Cream Man.
Yeah, I think the only other person, which I haven't seen him act outside of monster makeup, would be, I think it's someone that Doug Jones has acted with. It's not the dude that played Pyramid Head. It's oh man, I can't think of the thing that I'm specifically thinking of. It's he's a dude that has really long lanky limbs, and that's part of his character actor thing.
What else has he done?
I can't think of it. I can't, like, my brain is just like, no, you will not recall this memory. It's just gone.
Yeah. Oh, also, I think Doug Jones would make a great Joker.
Yeah. I think he would do well.
Just something about him in a nice crisp purple suit with like a tie and the hair. Like,
And he can act.
he's
Like,
an amazing actor.
yeah. It's not just like, oh, he can sit in makeup for a long time and look weird. No, it's like he can actually act. I mean, what he did for Pan's Labyrinth is
Oh.
insane.
Didn't he play 2 different characters in that one?
Yes,
played
and he
the-
learned a I'm pretty certain a dead dialect of Spanish.
He did, yes. I remember hearing that in the commentary.
Like and the only reason he knew how to speak to everyone else was he memorized his lyrics, or not his lyrics, his script
Yeah.
so much. He was like, okay, I memorized my script, and now I also know this person's script.
Like, he memorized the entire script.
Yeah.
He is amazing. Same with Abe Sapien when in Hellboy. Oh my gosh, like, brilliant. How has this man not won like an Oscar? Has he won an Oscar? I'm about to be mad, aren't I?
He probably hasn't.
I'm mad. No awards? I'm about to fight somebody.
Okay, well, on the next Space Cadets, we're going to be traveling to LA and finding whoever does the Oscars and punching them.
Yes.
And as an attorney, this is a threat.
Pink Girl, Batman Returns, Hocus Pocus is Billy. He was in Mimic. Goodness gracious.
He's been in everything.
Men in Black 2. Was he in the first Men in Black? I can't remember. I don't think so. Oh, he was in Mystery Men. Like,
who was he in Mystery Men?
Oh, Pencilhead.
Oh my god.
He was the Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
But dude, he was Pencilhead.
Yeah.
And then he had Son of Pencilhead.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. And that's with him in no makeup too.
Yeah.
I'm not, like, the scene is coming back to my mind, and it's just like, oh my god, that was Doug Jones, wasn't it?
He even came back for Hocus Pocus 2 to be Billy again. He was in Han Solo, Crimson Peak. Like, somebody give this man all the awards.
Yeah, well, I think unfortunately, like he is an excellent actor, but I think his main claim to fame is that he's able to sit in a makeup chair for 7 hours.
Also,
and deal with it.
2 episodes of Criminal Minds. I love this man.
Yeah, I think unfortunately his acting gets overshown for his ability to just be like, oh yeah, if you need me to be in makeup, I'll sit in the makeup chair for 7 to 8 hours and then be in the makeup for 16. Who knows?
He's also an amazing voice actor. I'm about to cry. He was in DuckTales. Woohoo.
Of course he was.
Yep.
He's done everything.
Star Trek. Star Wars.
Doug Jones needs to be protected at all costs.
Amen. Amen. He was an all-star in Smash Mouth by Smash Mouth. He was in that music video.
Oh, well, he would have been Pencilhead.
Yeah,
because they started, yeah.
I Don't Like the Drugs, but the Drugs Like Me by Marilyn Manson. He was in that music video as well. Oh, he has won an award.
In my head.
I'm sorry. He has won an award. Are you ready?
Okay.
Fangoria Chainsaw Awards Hall of Fame.
He deserves it.
And he was nominated In 2018, for Best Supporting Actor in Star Trek Discovery, he was also nominated for Best Supporting Actor by the Scream Awards in Hellboy 2.
He needs all of the awards, though.
He does. How has he only been nominated 5 times? And he's won twice for the Saturn Awards and the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards.
Well,
I'm in shock.
I think that just kind of proves that horror fans appreciate things. No one else does.
Ugh! Doug Jones, ladies and gentlemen. Doug Jones. If you don't know who Doug Jones is, pick any TV show or movie that has any type of monster, and I'll bet you anything that they modeled stuff after him.
Wasn't he the sea person in
Water?
Oh God. Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Something of water.
Oh, he was also the master in The Strain. Oh God, what was the name?
Dude, I have the pops. I can't think of the name of that movie.
So, the way water.
The something of water.
The Shape of Water.
Yes, The Shape. Wasn't he
Yes.
Yeah.
He was the creature.
Because of course he would have to be. He had experience being Abe Sapien.
Oh my gosh. And even if he hasn't been actually in the TV show or movie with monsters in it, you know that either the person that played the monster or like was designing the monster probably called him for like some sort of consult, just like, hey, how do you move in costumes?
I'm now wondering if he was ever a judge on that sci-fi monster show. Not monster show, but makeup show.
Yes, he was. I remember.
Okay.
He was on a couple of those. There was different shows where they were making. It was like Face Off.
It's Face Off. That's
Face
what
Off.
it is.
Yeah, he was on that. Oh my God, it was so amazing. And then whoever won that competition, he actually put on their costume.
Nice.
It was so cool. I deeply enjoyed that show. It was so good.
It was a great show. I feel like it got kind of repetitive.
It did.
But I feel like that can happen with these types of competition shows.
Yeah. And anybody who's Marvel or DC fans, he's also been in Arrow and The Flash. He was Deathbolt. Am I saying that right? Is it Deathbolt?
Bolt, yeah, I would assume.
And I mean, Tales from the Crypt. I mean, I don't have to say anything else. Silver Surfer, Tales from the Crypt, Crimson Peak, Han Solo, like.
Which, to be clear, he is not the voice of the Crypt Keeper.
No, he was, what did he play? He was in, it says a couple of episodes back in 1993, one of them being Food for Thought.
I can't remember his name now, but I did meet the Crypt Keeper. Because he's also the voice of Buster from Tiny Toon Adventures.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. Dee Dee had named his late dog Buster after Buster from Tiny Toon Adventures. And when we met him, he was like, oh yeah, I named my dog after you. And it was great. And he even did the whole like, we're tiny, we're loony, we're tiny, we're toony,
we're all the little loony.
Yeah.
In this cartoony, we're invading your TV. So
yeah, he did the voice, and it was just so amazing.
He is, oh God. Voice actors, I have noticed a lot of voice actors just being absolutely amazing. I really have. Joe DiMaggio, who does Bender, and he also does Marcus from Gears of War. He's just like, I've noticed a lot of his characters that he voices are very just like harsh and brash and just like, roar. But of everything that I've seen about him, interviews, people taking pictures and everything, he's one of those guys that's just like, thank you for liking me. You guys are awesome. And I've noticed a lot of voice actors like that.
Which I will say, for any voice actor, if you meet a voice actor in real life, don't ask them to do the voice. Sometimes it's really harsh on their throat. Like I know I did ask my brain is just not remembering names, period.
Yeah. I know the guy who did Invader Zim said he had to step away from like Invader Zim for a break because it was like draining his voice and he would lose his voice almost monthly.
Yeah.
I forgot his name too. Oh no.
No, not that one.
Damn. What? Why can't
Matthew Lillard. Okay. He does Shaggy in some of the animated series of Scooby-Doo and the live action. And Dee Dee is a huge fan of Scooby-Doo, and I was just like, hey, you don't have to, but if you can, would you mind if I called my dude and you talked to him like Shaggy? And he's like, no, absolutely not.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, that's fair. Totally cool.
Yeah.
And then he took really great photos of us, and it was fine. But there is a famous video of him at that same convention doing the Shaggy voice for a little girl who was very scared to meet him.
Aww.
Or just very scared in general. Like he was just like, oh hey, what's up? Like, you know, doing the whole Shaggy thing, and it was really cute. Like he'll do it for kids, but he won't do it for adults, which is fair.
Which is fair, yeah. And like I said, voice actors and people who do a lot of voice work, they're so amazing as well. Oh, like who was it? Oh God, I bumped into by complete accident when we were at the Retropalooza. I went to the bathroom. I accidentally bumped into the voice actress who does Ash Ketchum. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. She's like, no, it's okay. I'm sorry. I didn't see where I was going. I was like, why are all of you so nice? It was my fault. I'm sorry. Oh,
why can't you all give me that never meet your hero story? Because I don't want to meet you. It's too nice. I hate it.
I was like, man, I wish I could have stopped by your table, but we were busy. We were very busy at that con. Yeah. But yeah, just like, even though I was at fault, she was like, oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I was like, no. I'm sorry. This was my fault. Yell at me or something. Like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm not worthy.
But because we've been doing cons and I've been going to cons for so long, I've met a lot of the voice actors and actresses, and I've never met a mean one. They're all the ones that I have met personally. Like, they're the sweetest, like, kindest, most like, thank you people I've ever met. Like,
honestly, I don't think I've met when I was going to Frightmare every year, which, man, at some point I would like to start doing again. I miss it so much.
Yeah.
I don't think I've met someone who I was like, wow, what a jerk.
Yeah.
The only issues I've ever had is like with their handlers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm calling him out. Norman Reedus' handler for Frightmare, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever. What a jerk.
Aww.
He even got into my photo with him, and it's like, I didn't pay to get a photo with you. I paid to get a photo with Norman Reedus. Not
and
you.
Now you get to look back on this picture and like, bro.
Which also, this was back when I was using Tumblr too, and I had posted about this, and they were like, oh, I had the same issue with that guy at a different con.
Oh my gosh.
Like, he's just terrible.
Aww.
Or I had the same issue with this man at Frymare as well. Like, that handler was just terrible.
Aww.
Norman Reedus, sweet as can be.
Yeah.
So nice. His handler. Looking back, I wish I had punched that man. I was so annoyed. Because the tickets I had gotten were very expensive, and paying for stuff there is very expensive. If you're going to a convention and you're paying to get someone's autograph and picture, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Not to mention entry fee.
Yeah.
Which at that time, I had VIP tickets, which stupid expensive.
Yeah.
But it was just like, dude, I did not pay to meet you. I paid to meet Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
And I understand if you're trying to move the line along, but that's not what you're doing. You're actively being terrible.
I think I've only had one experience with a handler, and it was actually Comic Palooza last year.
Oh.
And so I can't, oh God, who was it?
Calling them out now, just before Comic Palooza this year.
It was a handler. It was the main actor from The Magicians that was there, because I know a couple of the others.
I need to finish that show. I never finished it.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. The last season kind of made me sad though, because things happened right before it.
I'm gonna have to restart it, which upsets me because I know that there's sad stuff that happens.
Oh yeah. But he was walking around. He was just walking around because when they have some downtime or when they have a break, a lot of times the stars like to walk around at cons. I knew him from a different movie. I know him from a movie called Teeth. Do you know which guy I'm talking about?
Oh no, because I can't remember him from the Magicians, but I do know Teeth. I love that movie.
So oh gosh, what year did that movie come out? Anyways, so he was in both those movies, and or he was in the movie and he was in The Magicians, and I've known him from Teeth first before I knew him as The Magicians. I think it was, what was his name? Goodness gracious, I'm blanking out his name. I love his stuff to death, but I don't know why I'm blanking out. Hale Appleman. Hale Isaac Appleman. That's his name. Okay. So he's just like walking around, and he just happened to stop and like kind of look at our booth, right? And I was fighting every urge in my body not to yell vagina dentata, because that's what he yells in the movie, right? And so all I did was like, hi, is there anything I can help you find? And before he even said anything or anything, the handler walks up and he's like, oh, he's not buying anything. He's just looking. I was like, okay. Like,
all right, cool. He didn't have to buy anything. I was just doing my job.
I was just saying hi. I'm sorry. Like, because usually at cons and stuff, you can go through the line, you can meet the people, and you don't have to buy something. You can just say hi, and then you move down the line. Especially at Comic Palooza, a lot of people, I don't know if people know that, but you can go through the line, you can meet the person, and you don't have to buy a selfie, you don't have to buy an autograph. You just stop at the booth, say hi, they'll say hi back, and then meet the person, you can move on. Like, you don't have to.
Even at Frightmare, there was at some point I was just like, oh hey, like I don't have any money to like really talk to you or buy anything. Can I just take a quick like picture of you? Is that fine? And they were like, oh yeah, you can take a picture of me, no problem. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Done. Moved on.
Yeah. But it was just, as he was walking away, I was like, oh, take a quick picture. And the handler like stood in between us. I was like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I totally get it. But all you had to do was like, just say like, hey, no pictures. I'm like, okay, got it. I wasn't taking a selfie or anything. It's just, I was working a booth. I didn't get to meet people. So it was really cool that he stopped by,
And it's one of those things like, hey, hate to tell you, but this is a celebrity. Like, people are going to take pictures.
Yeah. Especially at a major convention and they're walking around. Like,
yeah. And as long as you're not being a jerk about it and being like, oh, hey, let me like, take a picture. As long as you're not like that, I don't think that there should be an issue.
But I don't think there's actually, thinking about it now, I don't know if that was actually his handler versus if it was just somebody following him around.
Could be that too.
It could have just been somebody following him around. So I'm sorry if you weren't the handler. I'm very sorry. I don't quite remember. I just remember
for Norman Reedus' handler, absolutely not sorry. You were a jerk. And I even heard that when he was checking in, and people were like, "Oh, cool, Norman Reedus, like awesome, like you're really cool." He was like, "Hey, no," and just. But Norman Reedus was like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry for him." Like,
You know it was really bad when the person that's like he's handling is like, I'm sorry about him.
Yeah.
You know you done goofed.
Yeah, it was a whole thing, but it was that guy.
Okay,
If I ever recognize him in the street,
it's on.
I will call him a goofy goober to his face.
Not Grubble Fafa, just Goofy Goober.
Straight up goofy goober.
Oh my god.
Can't, man. I can't.
Oh, okay.
And I guess on that note, this has been a bunch of Grubble Fafa. In the best sense possible.
Oh.
We're not goofy goobers, and y'all aren't goofy goobers. Y'all are pretty cool. I've been Alfie. That's been Jena. And we hope that y'all enjoy your Google Fafa. And hopefully see you guys at some cons. There's a bunch coming up.
Yeah.
So have a good time.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Ooh.
Have a good summer.
Oh, snap.
Fall and winter. Just have a good time. Bye.
Bye.